There you are. There you are. Sorry, I was busy watching the launch trailer for Puzzle Quest Galactrix.
Dude, I'm so hyped for it.
Many believe
Dude, you trolled me so hard with that.
Galactrix.
Dude, I just flossed my teeth and somehow I have. This is the weirdest start to a podcast ever. But I got spaghetti all stuck up in my teeth. There's like Parmesan and little tiny bits of spices. And I just flossed my teeth and they're still in there somehow. Now I have to like get up, unplug my headphones because I don't want to take them off. Like push this piece of Parmesan on the track and hope it won't attract flies. And wonder how much of me rambling to myself just then was picked up by my microphone. Dude, you trolled me so hard. I was watching this and I was like, what is this? Why is Jason so excited for it? And I was like, this feels so like early 2000s. Like it would be like on a PC like game disc. And then at the end I see, sure enough, PC. But then I see Nintendo DS. And I'm like, no way, hold on. I gotta open this up and look at when this is dated from. And I see it's 14 years ago.
Let's go. I'm so hyped, dude. One of these days. One of these days.
Did it never come out?
No, it came out.
Is it one of those things?
Came out.
Okay. Why did you
one
feel
of these days I'm going to play it.
Dude, you're so... I was literally about to say, you're like... I won't say the actual word. You're like a living crap post right now. I'll go for the lesser of the
That's kind of what I go for.
Like,
with my
I know you
most of the time.
You're throwing me off, bro. All these memes you were posting beforehand. You're so goofy.
How bikers eat their sketty. Every time you mention spaghetti, you're gonna have to expect that I drop that meme. It's a classic.
But so yeah, sorry I didn't accept your original call. But I'm glad I didn't actually because I completely forgot to set up Audacity. Yeah, I said that weird. Audacity. So I wouldn't have even been recording myself. But yeah, I was in the middle of listening to a beatbox song I was making. So I was distracted.
Well, let's jump right in. Wait, do you have a good jump in topic?
We sort of have a cliffhanger. I know you say we shouldn't always be talking about exclusively Nintendo games, even though that's always something I can talk about.
The cliffhanger was about Mario Wonder, right?
Yeah, but I've also finally won Pikmin 4.
Oh.
Finally. That's been a cliffhanger. You keep telling me I need to win it.
You won it?
So you can see how my opinions have changed.
You won it?
I won it.
Louis won it?
Yeah, I saved Louis. Should have said a spoiler alert before that. Louis.
Oh. Well, it's too late now. Unless I play Puzzle Quest Galactrix and I get this sci-fi time machine and I use it to change the past and put a spoiler warning. Do you have anything to say about Pikmin 4 or was that it?
No, hold on. I'm watching the Puzzle Quest Galactrix launch trailer.
Why?
It's funny now. It's just funny. The puzzle game of the year has evolved into the puzzle game of the future. I love that line. Okay, this is the part where I just... actually... You know, instead of saying that I'm going to cut this part out, how about instead if I fill in the part that would be cut out with why I feel like I would be cutting something out, which is that my brain fog has never gone away. It's just is... And we already discussed this. Ew, I just touched like a giant mass of cobwebs that was like growing on the back of my chair.
I think what you need to do is sleep.
No, it's not that. I've tried everything.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sleeping, that can't be it. I tried sleeping, that can't be it.
I even tried drinking water. You know me, I don't drink water. There were like 3 days in a row, I was drinking a glass of water after every meal.
Those are the two things that liberals will tell you to do, but turns out...
Yeah, drink water, get sleep.
It's all a lie.
People talk about conservatives like with their bootstrap mentality, like you just gotta work hard. But then liberals are all like, you just gotta drink water. Neither one works. I tried working hard. I tried drinking water. Anyways, as we discussed last time, I've had brain fog since the day I was born. But lately, the brain fog has turned into like brain flash flooding. And based off of every attempt I've made to alleviate it through various means, as discussed just earlier during my laughing fit, I can only conclude. Hold on a second, I'm gonna burp. Excuse me, I had sketty. I can only conclude that it's because of this job that I have now. It is literally. Especially my social battery, but like my mental stamina, like I use up I am at 0% by the time I am done with the work week. I am at 0% for like the day by the end of the work day. And then I just have nothing left. Let me tell you, if it was anyone other than you, I don't think I could even talk to you just normally, like in a conversation. Like I just can't do it, man. I'm losing function. And the worst part is, my response, my go-to to this is that I gotta do something to get out of this job, because I need to have a job theoretically, but in order to not have this job, I need to find some way to have a better position to be in, doing something else. But the thing is, that takes work, and I can't do work because I'm all worked out. It's a loop. It's a self-fulfilling thing.
Now you get it, John.
It's like when you're stuck in debt and then you need loans to pay off the debt, but then that puts you in more debt.
Welcome to society. We
really are living in a society. Bro, Mom and Dad had Seinfeld playing one day, and it was the episode where he says the line. Do you know that? There's the one episode where, I forget the name of the character. Is it just George is the name of the one character? Or is that the other guy? I don't remember. He has a line that I'm pretty sure is completely unaffiliated, like unrelated, not inspired in any way. Or the meme isn't inspired by the quote in any way. Like the Joker, we live in a society thing. But there's an episode of Seinfeld, famously after the fact, where he just straight up says, "We are living in a society." He's like in front of a restaurant and he screams it to the whole restaurant crowd, and it's hilarious, like in context, because it's a meme now. And that was on TV, and I laughed at it.
Well, it's the truth. It's the same.
That's my favorite thing now is when Mom and Dad leave Everybody Loves Raymond or Seinfeld playing in the background.
Yeah. It's what era are those shows from?
I don't know, but 90s? They're funny.
'Cause
I don't think they're both from the exact same time period. Well, obviously not down to like the exact.
It's just
year,
weird because Everybody Loves Raymond is like slightly nostalgic for me, which is funny because I was born like at the time I watched it was already well past, I guess like its prime.
Yeah, it was already vintage.
Yeah, so it's like double nostalgia or like double, I don't know.
Double nostalgia.
It's like how kids nowadays. Have you seen any
Seinfeld? Seinfeld's funny too.
Yeah, I've watched a little Seinfeld. It's like how kids nowadays will experience old Nintendo games through the Nintendo Switch Online emulation, and they'll be like I'm talking like 2010s kids.
Yeah.
Or even later. Will be like 10
nostalgia.
years down the road, they'll be like, dude, do you remember the good old days when we'd boot up the Nintendo Switch and play Super Mario Bros. 3?
Yeah, it's like nostalgia of something that was already presented in a nostalgic format. It's interesting. Layered nostalgia.
It is interesting. Now, what was I going to say?
Filtered nostalgia.
Oh, I was going to say it's...
what I was going to say is you gave me two possible segues now, one of which I forgot. Oh, yeah, Seinfeld. We can talk about AI Seinfeld. That's been on my list for forever.
I thought we already talked about it.
AI Seinfeld isn't as popular anymore, but I was going to talk a bit about AI generated
It got
content.
taken down.
And then the other is the Nintendo Direct, because you brought up remaking games or playing them on the Switch Online, which was a pretty big facet of the last Direct.
I'm gonna say we already talked about AI Seinfeld basically because we talked about AI Jesus, and that's basically.
But we didn't talk about AI SpongeBob. People have
though?
built like a separate community around AI SpongeBob. They've given like each of the characters their own lore and stuff. It's insane.
It's so hard to remember what we've talked about in person versus like just in conversation versus on the podcast, because they're
slowly becoming synonymous because you're not here anymore.
It's true. Well,
I'm talking pretty loud. I should move back a bit away from the mic.
Personally...
But the cool thing about recording remotely is that I can pitch myself down and pitch you up if I have to.
Pitch?
Hold on, the sketty's coming back.
Gain.
Yeah, gain. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, you were, like, abysmally echoey last time, though. I could not...
I know.
You just sounded so echoey.
I know, but the good thing is that I'm not recording in a study room this time. I'm in my actual room, so I'm not going to be echoey this time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is Yvonne there?
No.
Okay. Shout out to Yvonne anyway.
Shout out to Yvonne for not being here so I can record in the room.
Are you eating something?
Goobers.
Boobers?
Goobers.
That straight up sounded like a bee, dude. And I was like trying to decipher, okay, what is boober in Jason's
I'm eating Goobers, the chocolate-covered peanuts.
I love Goobers, the chocolate-covered peanuts. Every time I go into a movie theater and I see a box of Goobers, I think of you.
Yeah, I think of my wallet every time I go into a movie theater and see them. And my hand reaches for it. You know what I mean?
Dude, you're hilarious.
We've been bantering for a while. Let's talk about something.
Welcome back to the Banter Cast. I'm the
I'm
host.
the co-host.
And this is not actually the Banter Cast. This is the Escape Podcast. We forgot to introduce ourselves.
Yeah, well, no, we didn't. We remembered to do it.
Late.
So
very
think
late.
about it that way.
Glass half full.
I have actually a number of things to talk about.
Good.
Possibly because
Please carry this while
I
find my way out of my employment position and mental state.
Wait. Carry the podcast while you, like, are you actively?
Yeah.
Are you going to spend the next hour devising a scheme to find new employment? Is that what you mean?
Or you can carry it the next, like, 5 episodes while I figure this out.
What is this file on my desktop? Dude.
What file
Wait,
is
this is like Creepypasta stuff. It's extensionless, and it's a file just named capital W, capital S, lowercase pt, capital L, ist. WSPT list. And it's just sitting on my...
WSPT.
It has no file extension. It says that the size of the file is 0 bytes. When I open it up, it's completely blank. It is only taking up literally 4 kilobytes, which is the amount of space it needs to hold, like, meta information about a file. It's completely empty.
Bro. Hold on.
Date created.
Did one of my programs accidentally install a virus on your computer?
September 16th at 6:42 p.m.
Of this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've only seen it now.
Well, that makes sense.
That's so weird.
Dude, what? If it weren't for the fact that there's, like, a real word in there, I would say that you were, like, saving something. Like somehow, like, you were maybe programming something and you just accidentally saved a file with, like, garbage name and 0 data.
Yeah.
But it has a word in it,
Yeah,
so it makes it seem like something was done intentionally.
Program generated. Strange.
Bro, that's weird. You want to do a live investigation?
I don't think there's anything else to investigate.
I know. Dude, I miss the good old days when you would investigate creepy stuff on your channel before it got taken down and you couldn't make the video anymore.
I miss the good old days when I had a channel.
This is what I'm talking about, Jason. We got to get back to the good old days. We got to escape.
Oh, this is like when you say the title of the movie in the movie. We said the title
exactly.
of the podcast in the podcast.
I don't know if I should have waited for a more climactic moment in our lives to drop that, but that's what the escape pod has always meant to me. Because I feel like we've said, maybe not used the exact word, but we've always said this is like, well, back when you were like actually making videos on your channel, we almost like described this as like your escape channel where you just goof off and say whatever you want, and you don't actually have to put effort into working on it. Instead, I do. I edit the video.
Okay, but it's not...
Yo, can you pass me a goober through the screen?
I got you. Hold on. You should have gotten it.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Okay, so I have a whole number of...
Whoa, which number? 256? That's my favorite one.
I have 6 things to talk about. One of them I don't really have anything to say. So I don't... Well, I was going to ask you... if you're familiar with the Sidemen charity match that they do every year.
Wait. Sidemen. Hold on. Do I remember who those are?
They're pretty OG YouTubers. It's the group of like British footballers. KSI and...
Yeah, okay. You said KSI, now I remember.
Simon and Vicstar and...
KSI is the only one I really know.
Anyways, they do the annual charity match. They did it. It was, forget what day. It was like September something. It was interesting because I didn't, like, I know last year's was like super big. Like, it did really well. I didn't hear as much about this year's. So that was, I mean, I don't know if it was just I happened to not hear as much about it or if it didn't get as much traction, but XQC was the goalkeeper for the YouTube All-Stars team.
Oh, is that what that was? Dude, I saw like a clip of like somebody of like a replay of that, and I didn't know that was the context.
Yes. It was the goalkeepers. Sidemen's goalkeeper was KSI, and then YouTube All-Stars, which is the name of that they give to the opposing team. Their goalkeeper was XQC. Which is really funny considering XQC, I don't think, like, knows how to play soccer at all, really. So they threw him in the goal, and boy did they score a lot of goals against XQC. But I watched part of the game, not all of it, but I watched a good amount of it. He had some decent catches, some decent saves. Just about as many terrible mistakes as you'd expect from somebody who's never played goalkeeper, much less soccer at all. But that was pretty funny.
Shout out to when Jason used to play soccer.
I would if I could.
Shout out to everyone who used to be on his team.
I love soccer.
You should come over here and we play soccer in the backyard, just you and me, one-on-one. Okay. See, I got the fancy foot magic, and Jason gets scared and he won't move his feet fast enough. But then I get really tired and I pass out halfway through the match.
Fancy foot magic is an interesting way of saying that he injures you.
It kicks you in the shin.
Yeah. Other topic I was going to talk about, I don't know if you saw that.
Other topic. Should I, since it's still kind of hot in here in the bonus room above the garage where there's little to no AC, should I run off and change my pants into something less hot? I'm wearing jeans right now.
No, just add the...
Because it was getting cooler, and then it decided, nah, it's not fall
Add
yet.
the heat wave effect to your screen.
No, dude. I have 0 hours to edit this video.
Yeah.
And my chair is loud.
It's not that hard to add a heat wave effect, though.
How hard is it to remove this chair sound?
Impossible. How hard is it to buy a new chair, though? We'll work on that one.
For me, with this brain fog, pretty hard.
Okay, I'll buy it for you.
I thought you were about to say, like, I buy it. Like, yeah, I imagine it's pretty hard with the brain fog.
Other topic. I don't know if you saw, but an Illumination animator employee posted some of the deleted scenes from the Mario movie.
No way, dude! I never thought I'd see the day where you bring up the Mario movie. I thought you were traumatized to never talk about it again.
I mean,
dude, I actually have a list of topics that I might as well delete them, but because we technically never touched them, they're just the last remaining topics that we technically never talked about in our discussion.
Save it for Mario Day.
You know what? Yeah, we might as well. But just for the heck of it, when I heard about these deleted scenes, for the first time in like however long ago it was that we did all that, I added to that list. I said deleted scenes.
Well, there you go. I mean, I feel like that's something pertinent to talk about, not just analyzing the movie again.
Yeah. It seems like they mostly removed. I heard it from GameXplain, which is a phrase that I've used like several times now on this podcast. But they didn't show the actual footage. Was the actual footage, has it been like taken down, or are people just afraid to show it?
I mean, I saw it on Twitter, on X, but I actually didn't mean to make the joke.
The next
that
evolution of people acknowledging that Twitter has had a name change has come around. Instead of people saying on X, now I've seen like at least 2 people just defiantly say Twitter, and then they just have like a text caption on screen at the same time saying, I'm not calling it X. But they practically are by acknowledging
the standard for news journals I've seen is to call it X, the app formerly known as Twitter.
X, formerly known as Twitter.
Like you'll see that in every news journal is how they refer to it.
But it's been standardized.
Yeah, I saw the deleted scenes. Like I actually watched them on.
Yeah, I've only heard them described and seen like screen bits.
I don't know if they currently exist still, but I imagine they do. I mean, okay, a cursory Google search shows a lot of re-uploads, so I imagine that it exists somewhere. Whether or not it's like stably uploaded somewhere, because it's
Illumination took down those edits, presumably Illumination or Nintendo, I think it was Illumination, took down those edits people made of just the like individual, sometimes very short scenes where they edited out the what do you call it, the like what is the word that they use when they're talking about in a movie, like the music made by actual like musicians or like singers.
What?
The copyrighted music, like I need a hero
music.
And licensed. Jeez, I could not think of that word. Thank you. The licensed music where they edited it out and put in the original score that was supposed to be by Brian Tyler. Yes. Sorry, dude. That is my least favorite thing to happen on the podcast. Whenever the last time we talked about Pikmin 4, the first time we talked about it, the whole time I was trying to describe the level design and how there were some aspects of it I didn't like, and I kept fumbling around and I couldn't remember like one word, and the word was inorganic. I felt like sometimes it was inorganic. Like it felt too compartmentalized, like rooms instead of like natural, like hillscape and stuff, and like the insides of logs and all that. Which, by the way, I can touch on that. The level design gets better as I go throughout the game, and also I think some of it just has to do with the fact that the level design is different, and it didn't sit well with me at first. I had to adjust to it. But then, and then there's the classic time where I was trying to describe how I don't like talking to people, and I kept saying I'm very, what's the word? And the word was reserved the whole episode. I couldn't remember the word.
Reserved.
I'm very
So, you mentioned GameXplain, and I just saw recently, apparently I missed this completely, but apparently a lot of people don't like GameXplain, like Andre.
Well, did you never hear about the drama with him?
No, that's what I'm saying. I never heard about that, so I was completely
Okay, then I'm catching up on you. Basically, all of the OG game explainers, other than Andre, who's like in charge of the whole thing. Said that he didn't
pay them well and stuff, right?
Yeah, he was like paying them abysmally. When it like I don't know the metrics of I have no like concept of money, but like I know several people like heard what they were getting paid, and it was like jaw dropping to them. But there are new people working like for GameXplain who seem like cool people, and they're like aware of this fact. And Andre like came out and said, "Okay, yeah, I realize this is uncool. This is kind of just what I was used to, and this is like my mindset I was in, is what I was paying people for however long since we started this." And he said he would pay them more fairly from then on. Now speaking about the new employees, not the old ones, because they all left, and they actually made their own channel now. I don't remember what it's called, but. Yeah, they're all gone. I almost miss their voices. They've all been replaced and are hopefully being paid fairly now. But there's this strange thing in like cancel culture that comes up where whenever somebody like that previously had like no negative stigma attached to their names, as soon as they get canceled for anything, everyone comes out of the woodwork and they're like, "I always hated them. I knew it. They just didn't sit right with me." And there were so many people the day this news dropped who were like, "Yeah, Andre just never felt right to me. The way he talked, he sounded kind of snarky. Sometimes he sounded like he wasn't paying attention to people or giving them the room to talk about what they wanted to talk about during their little like discussion posts and stuff." And I was like, fair. Maybe that is true. I think I've heard some of those discussion posts. I can see where they're coming from. But like, here's the thing. If Andre was never any of these things, if so many of these people, because like I said, this is like a recurring trend in this sort of cancel culture climate, if none of these people were these things that ultimately got them canceled, you would have kept these things to yourself because they're really just nitpicks. But now, like, that you feel like you're entitled or obligated to hate someone, suddenly you need to like point out every little flaw they have.
Yeah.
And I just think it's stupid.
Or it's the kind of thing
so
where,
here's
like,
the thing. If you don't think Andre right now is currently doing anything bad in his business practices, just let go of all this other stupid stuff you're holding against him. If you do think maybe he's still like behind the scenes, and hopefully you have some sort of evidence to back this up, being a little manipulative and shady and stuff, then yeah, and maybe you can look into that other stuff because it could be like a personality indicator even. But don't just feel like you have to hate the guy now. I hate that mindset.
Well, as always, also, a lot of those things that people be like, "Yeah, I could tell based on XYZ that he was a little off."
Yeah, they wanna be like predictors.
It's like,
I knew it.
It's like that's the kind of stuff where you could see those things and be so totally wrong because people's behaviors over the internet and like through edited stuff like that can be so misportrayed. Or certain people just have personality quirks where they might have some behaviors that seem a little strange, or especially like appear to strange when you're watching like something that's like recorded
absolutely.
or scripted, and then but
like,
you don't know how they are in real life. So it's it's like you saying that one way or another. Like I just try to like ignore those things because they're usually not good indicators one way or another because people can just have quirks to their personality.
Dude, honestly, it's like, was it the last episode of the podcast that we were talking about, like, the amount of self-awareness that people seem to lack in these sort of, like, parasocial, judgmental situations? We were talking about, what was it? Oh, dang. No, I lost my train of thought. And there comes the sketty again.
The sketty. How bikers eat their sketty.
I've got to include that meme, like, somewhere on the screen or something, because people are going to be so confused. We were talking about, like, the unrealistic... about how people will get, like, canceled for their, like, immediate, like, unfiltered opinions on stuff. And we were like, okay, like, seriously, how good are your first takes on things? Like, it's such an unrealistic standard to hold people to. And it's the same way. Like, if you really had all of your little quirks and minor, slightly... unorthodox mannerisms put on the internet publicly, do you really think that there wouldn't be people who take issue with it and could read into it too far? Because we all have little things about ourselves that like could add up to like being seen as problematic. Mm-hmm. Nobody's perfect,
right?
And the only reason we expect people on the internet to seem perfect is because they have an awareness of this situation that I'm talking about, and they intentionally try to hide their imperfections, which, leads to its own set of problems. But it's just, you gotta be aware, because these people, so much of like, the problems people have judging other people today, I feel like is a problem of, would you really be any different, though, if you were in their position? And then people just don't care, though. They don't care about that approach at all. Like, I think so much about how, like, yeah, rich people are terrible sometimes. But, like, if your dad had an emerald mine and you got thrust into Elon Musk's situation, maybe you wouldn't have become a rocket scientist. But would you have become any better of a person? Probably not. Probably not. And so, like, I can acknowledge him as a bad person, but I won't act like in the same context I would have been better or something. Like, absolute power corrupts absolutely. I don't agree with that maybe 100%, but I think it's pretty true most of the time.
We had a conversation many years ago about how you would like to be rich, you would like to have a lot of money or a lot of income because you would give away absolutely all of it. And I was like,
yes.
And I was like,
I was about to say I wouldn't want a lot of money.
And I was like, I don't know if you can say that, because a lot of people say that same thing and then they get the money and then it sort of takes over their
that's true.
Their mindset.
And we were talking about
and you
that
were like,
too.
No, that
about
wouldn't
how,
happen to me. And I was like, I mean, how can you say that though?
Well,
which I do agree that, like, if it were to not happen to anybody, it would be you. But
okay, I don't know if I went that far, but
no, I'm just saying, like, you are the kind of person that's, like, least likely to be corrupted by money.
Oh, you actually believe that?
Yes. Yeah?
Oh, he fell for it, guys. Guys, he fell for it.
Because what would you do with money? You don't, okay, no offense, but you don't have, like, the kind of personality or mindset to be, like, a leader, like, entrepreneur type person, like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk.
I don't have that kind of personality?
No, I don't think you do. I don't think that you're not a leader in a certain sense.
Well,
but I
kind of do, just because none of those people are actually talented. They seem like they just got where they are mostly by luck and charisma.
No, they have a talent,
now,
which is charisma.
Now, you can say I'm uncharismatic.
That's what I'm saying. You're not charismatic. Their talent is the
go.
charisma, and that lets them be a leader and dominator over other people and use them to their advantage.
Yeah, I don't chariz. I ain't risen. I ain't risen. I don't roll that way. But, dude, you kind of distracted me a lot now. But I will actually, I can build off of what you said. Because the reason why I always said that, and because this is something we talked about, too, before. We were talking about how some YouTubers probably think, oh, I'll just abuse the system, I'll abuse clickbait, the algorithm, until I make it. Then I'll just be myself. But then it's like, they say that at the moment. But then once they get there, they're like, oh, this is so good, this uphill climb, I can keep going further and further,
Yeah.
And then we elaborated even more, saying that's probably what a lot of people do with a lot of things, financially, any sort of success. And I don't think I would go so far as to say I'm the least susceptible to that. But I will say that this is a new nuance I've unlocked recently, which is that I used to always use the word dogma in a completely negative context. Because to me, dogma essentially means... For the longest time, I didn't know what dogma means. You know what dogma means, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because typically when people say dogma, it means you're believing something purely by principle with no evidence. But really, there's a difference between, like, evidence and proof. Sometimes you can take a little bit of evidence, and then if you're someone like me, and you're like, oh, but I don't know for sure, then you, like, get caught up on that forever, and you never actually settle on, okay, but it's a pretty safe bet, right? So I know already, I mean, I don't know, but I can pretty safely say that this is not good the way, like, rich people are acting. I will not get emotional fulfillment out of it, and I will make the world a worse place by living the kind of lives that they do. So, from that approach, even though I cannot prove that, I have a strong enough faith in that assertion that I now just, like, dogmatically, and this is what I've always talked about when I've said what you said that I've said in the past, before I've ever even become famous, before I get that opportunity, I am now, and hopefully because of this, always will dogmatically believe that I do not want this money. I will just give it away. I don't need it. I won't take it. I won't use any more than I need or than that is safe to maybe save up for something else more important down the line. So, that is what maybe would set someone apart like me from all these other people, is having that sort of foundation in the idea that I will not do this because I've already basically settled it in my mind.
You know what I really want to do if I got money?
What? Lay it on.
I was about to say this is a little selfish, but but I guess it's not. I really want to collect things, but I want to collect things.
Yeah, our game.
I want to part of it is just I want to have a collection of all the things I like as like little trophies, and also to play them because like mostly video games and or music, that kind of stuff, interactable things. But
and you're also big into collecting. Is it compact discs or records or just anything?
CDs,
it's like physical
mostly,
music.
but I mean vinyls too.
CDs, nuts! I got you to say it. Hey.
Oh, you did.
No, I just made that up as I was going along.
Vinyls are a little too trendy, you know, like too many people. It really annoys me. A lot of artists nowadays will release their music on vinyl and not CD. And my beef with vinyls are just, they're so big and so bulky. The sound quality is far worse than CD.
Yeah.
They're way more fragile. I mean, they can be really easily damaged, and over time they just degrade. So I just don't, I don't get
the future of the music industry. They're going to start releasing it on, like, cassette tapes.
Jonathan.
What?
They already do that.
What? They do?
That's actually a very common thing now. Most artists do release, or at least like,
I
guess like the indie pop kind of artists, the niche where it makes sense, they release their music on cassette tape.
I'm sorry, I am not involved in the music landscape. I'm not aware of these things.
Well, it's kind of funny that you say that jokingly, and it's actually something they do.
Yeah, I know. It's actually kind of funny. My outsider opinion kind of helps further put that into context, you know?
But what was
like, you're used to it, but...
Yeah, so collecting things. But also part of the collecting things is like... Well, the reason why collecting things is a I mean, it's an inherently expensive hobby because A, things cost money. B, the more collectible something is, the more money it costs. So, but what interests me is...
You know what bothers me about collecting? This brief tangent I want to put in here. Whenever I hear people talk about Pokemon cards or anything like them, they're always like, oh, awesome, this one's rare, I can sell it. Or, oh, this one's valuable, I can use it in competitive play. Do you ever just open a pack of Pokemon cards and be like, oh, this one's my favorite Pokemon, and it's got a shiny variant. It's holographic. Oh, it's so cool.
No.
Can't they just be pretty?
Well,
I think they're pretty.
Because
I would collect pretty Pokemon cards. That would be me. I'd be the only one.
The people who are, like, buy packs in bulk and do, like, 10-hour-long openings of cards are the people who are just straight up just addicted to gambling, basically. Like, it's essentially just a gambling addiction. Yeah. Because they buy the cards, and then they hope that they get a rare enough one that they can get money off of it. So
for me, it would be like, I would do what I do when there's a collectible, like, series of items or something in a video game. I would keep one of every single one, and then multiple of ones that are actually useful. So if I did play, like, competitive Pokemon, I would still keep the lame-o cards if they were the only one I had. Especially if they were pretty. But then I'd keep, like, a bunch of ones that would actually be good for, like, a deck.
Yeah. Well, what I want to do, or, like, part of why I like collecting is, like, Archivism.
Yes, I'm big into Archivism, too.
Yeah, you know I'm a certified archivist. But the problem is, like, saying you want to, like, help archive stuff, most of the time, like, you know, how do I say this? The stuff that's within a reasonable...
Oh my goodness, bro! We never did the clap to sync our audio.
Oh. Well, I mean, technically we can do it at any time. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's save it till the end, I guess. 'Cause if it's at either the front or the back, that'll make it easier.
Anyways, I guess the things that are obtainable to an average person like me are the things that are not that expensive and therefore common and don't really need to be archived, you know? The things that are super expensive, like, I don't know, like mint box sets of video games. Those are the kind of things that you, like, want to archive. But then they're also insanely expensive. So
we need
I guess
to
what I'd say is
buy the Vatican so we can archive the time machine in there.
Exactly what I was getting at.
Exactly I was wondering what your response to that would be. That would actually make a nice segue into like a tiny topic I have on my notes, but I'll let you finish your archivism.
I mean, that's
first.
basically all I was going to say is I would, if I had a ton of money, I would spend a lot of it on buying rare stuff from people who would otherwise get rid of it, or maybe sell it to somebody who would, I don't know, like not preserve it properly, or would also just be in the interest of selling it. Yeah, you hear a lot about like in a... So rather than just having it change hands a bunch, I would like to buy that rare stuff for the sake of actually preserving it.
When it comes to like lost media, which is a form of archivism that really interests me, I was actually thinking about something that was lost media really recently that kind of upset me. But a very common story you'll hear when you hear about searches for lost media is they'll find out where it's located. They'll find out, yes, it exists, somebody has it on file. And there will be two outcomes. Either they're like, yes, but they're like a past or current employer of mine, and I don't want to give up something that's technically like their property because I could get in trouble, you know? Or you have this guy who's like, yeah, but it's mine, I don't want to share it.
Yeah.
And that second one just irks me, you know?
Yeah. And how cool would it be to actually have like a video game, like retro gaming or retro media, like technology media museum? Like, that would be cool if you had the money to buy that stuff and make a collection like that, and you could have your own museum. Goodness. That would be awesome.
Bro, my goodness. Did you hear? Nintendo's making a Nintendo museum.
Yes, yeah. That was in the Direct.
Yeah. I actually, that was so wild. They were zooming out on the question box, and I could tell it was like a question box or a coin by like the NES color palette.
I thought they were going to reveal the new voice actor.
Dude, no! Douglas Bowser has come out and said that you'll have to wait until the credits of Super Mario Wonder to find out. I have no idea why they're being like so secretive about it.
It's gonna be Xander Mobus, dude.
That would be crazy.
That's weird. Dude,
I am genuinely wondering if like...
How old was he?
Yeah, if it's like a big name or someone important that they're being so secretive about it.
Wasn't he like 17 or 18 when he did the voice, when he did the voice recordings for Smash Wii U, Smash 4? Like, he was young.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's pretty crazy. I always think every time I look at a voice actor, I'm like, how did you get picked, you know? Just because, like, there's so many people in the world and so many voices, and you got picked. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. And that he's also the voice of Joker, so he's got 2 credits in the same game.
Facts. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because people were making jokes about it at first. That's actually interesting. That's like the most meta with the voice acting it's gotten in Smash since Sakurai voiced King Dedede in Smash Bros., which is still the case.
Well, what was your how did you have a tangent related to Vatican City?
You said Vatican City. What is it when people are always talking about like the Vatican and it's like this secret basement below like the Pope's cathedral or something? That's like all people keep talking about it, and that's like all I know about it.
I've never heard of that. I mean, Vatican City is the name of the country.
So you don't know what it is either. I hadn't heard about it until like people started making
I've not
until
heard
I started
of like
hearing
the Vatican as like a secret place.
I think I'm saying the name right.
Well, I just hear people say the Vatican in reference to Vatican City.
Yeah. Well, maybe that is what they're talking about. But then
they're
I
probably
don't know
just talking about Vatican City.
But no, there is this belief that like the Catholic Church is like hiding a bunch of like ancient artifacts and tomes and stuff. And what I was gonna lead into is that Snapchat, people have talked about like TikTok having like a misinformation problem prior to maybe the one good change that Elon Musk added to Twitter, that being the community notes or whatever. Had sort of a misinformation problem. People talk about that all the time. No one's talking about Snapchat. What do they call like the little articles? Are they called Snapchat stories? That's kind of confusing because stories are also something else on Snapchat.
I call it the Discover page.
There are so many. It's mostly one, and I'm not even going to say it by name. I'm not going to like advertise them in any way, shape, or form. But there are so many. Like Snapchat story brands or whatever you would call them that are just like spreading the craziest ideas ever. And there was this guy, I tapped on it just because I could tell it was going to be ridiculous. And he was sharing the craziest story ever about how the Pope has, like in the Vatican, like they say, like in the conspiracy theories, like it's locked up somewhere. A secret relic, someone who created a device that can allow you to view the past like a movie through a visor. And he said the Pope like used it to see the crucifixion of Jesus IRL, like in person. And I was just like, and he always has like one disclaimer, because I've seen more of his videos than just that one.
Disclaimer,
it's like,
this is not
I don't know,
true.
I don't have all the facts, it's kind of crazy, keep an open mind, take it with a grain of salt or whatever. He barely acknowledged that in this. He sounded like sold on this idea, like yes, they have a time machine. The Pope has a time machine hidden, locked up. And it's just crazy, because there's so many of these. Like, there is an infinite well of people like sharing like Reddit creepypastas and saying they're real stories. People like spreading the most insane conspiracy theories, like that Alex Jones would like not even be able to comprehend, and they're just like saying it like, yeah, guys, this is real. This is what they're hiding from you, and I feel like there's a very small audience that is watching these things. Like, how many people even talk about Snapchat stories? But, man, it is some of the craziest stuff that they are treating as serious as they are.
I watch Snapchat stories, but only if they're Good Luck America.
Exactly. I knew you were going to say that. Because that's still Snapchat exclusive, you said, right?
Yep.
But what was I going to add on to that? I forgot. Oh, yeah. But I thought it was cool. Because, what was the word? I think he actually gave a name for it. He said there was actually like a government leaked document. No, oh my goodness, that was another one I was watching. Oh my goodness, yes, saying that the CIA had recently declassified like some documents. And I'm sure there's some truth to that. Because usually if they say there's some files out here, then like, yeah, those files were leaked. But how relevant and how truthful they are and how much success is actually behind the ideas posited in these things is obviously what I think is probably incorrect. But he was talking about how the CIA had declassified like instructions on how to like have your spirit leave your body. And it's just a matter of like your mindset
official CIA
and like blasting
instructions.
Certain sound waves into your ears. I've heard so many like weird conspiracy stuff about how everything is secretly controlled by sound waves. Like everything is sound waves. Like atoms are just sound waves that are like overlapping in the right way that they appear to be like solid and they like form bonds with each other. It's crazy. And it's like,
the sound
what does that even mean at that
point?
point?
OG like pseudoscience stuff too. Like they say,
I know.
They say that you're like connected to the earth through vibrations. And that all objects have like
and they always throw in like a Nikola Tesla quote somewhere.
Yeah, facts. And I remember them saying like you have to surround yourself with the right crystals and rocks,
those!
They have the
They're
certain
like
vibration.
Self-help pseudoscience. It's crazy. It's its own genre.
And also you have to walk barefoot because then otherwise you're dampening the vibrations from the earth.
Dude, I've been seeing those self-help pseudosciences on YouTube lately, and they're all branded like stuff the elites are hiding from you, like secret Freemason techniques. It's wild. I think they know something about me that I don't know about myself. Like they know we were trying to get into the Freemasonry to discover their secrets or something.
Bro.
It's wild. But what I was gonna say is that one about things that allow you to look in the past. I think he even name dropped what the supposed device was. I think it was called like the Chronovisor, which cool name, honestly. The Chronovisor.
Yeah, chrono.
But
means time.
Yeah,
Visor
visor means you put it on your face and you can see stuff. And he even showed a picture, which at this point I do not trust him. I bet he just like looked up like time box and put like the first image. I feel like I have no trust that it's actually related in any way. But he showed a picture of it too, and it was just like this weird little like tiny box with like a headset beside it or something. But the first thing I thought of before he even fully explained it, but especially after he fully explained supposedly how it works, is, oh my goodness, I literally wrote out, like, I have like an ideas folder somewhere. I wrote out like a sci-fi novel idea for this exact concept.
Oh,
because
about somebody looking in the past to see the crucifixion of Jesus Christ?
No, about being able to look into the past. Because here's the thing. It is definitely beyond the scope of whatever we could do with technology and with our base human intellect. But technically speaking, everything that exists now is where it is because of immutable laws of physics. And if we knew where everything is right now and all the properties that it has, all of the energy in it, the direction it's going,
the idea of quantum
reverse
computing.
engineer all of it to know where it was.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you'd need, like, full knowledge of the universe, or at least the measurable universe. And if somehow you could do that, then yes, you could trace it back and know where all the light photons were during the crucifixion, so you could display them into your eyes as if you were looking at them.
That is assuming that the universe is deterministic. That, like you said, everything relies only on physical interactions in the universe with matter and energy, and that there's no aspect
quantum
of
physics
our existence
would like to have a word
like
with you.
Non-deterministic. And that's the ultimate question then.
Dude, I love when we're getting into philosophy on the podcast.
Me too. And you know what? Maybe the universe isn't deterministic, because you mentioned quantum physics. Yeah. Which is the whole idea of like non-deterministic behavior with the laws of physics.
And it's an established science.
Quantum computing is the idea of non-deterministic computing.
Yeah.
So,
and what is it? Was Google talking about how like they're gonna have like a serious like quantum computer going like to the point where they'll be able to like make multiple of them or something like in like the near future? I should have looked into that. We need the Jamie again.
By the way, I apologize for if you can hear. Yeah, you probably can. A little bit of talking in the background. It's my sweet mates. They talk a little bit loud, but also the walls are just really thin, so you can pretty much hear conversation through the walls.
Oh no! Not only did the sketty come back again, but I just realized you're not in the study hall or whatever, which means I have to...
No, you don't. I mean, I moved to the study hall. Jonathan, I moved to the study hall. You are going to kill yourself if you try to.
I know! I am absolutely going to kill myself.
No, you're not going to
this is what
You're not. No.
That sounds
I'm in the study hall. I'm in the study hall.
I'm in the study hall.
I'm in the study hall.
It's quantum physics at work. I can't see that you're not in the study hall. So technically, you're in an unobserved state right now. So you are simultaneously in the study hall and not in the study hall at the same time. And it only becomes one or the other when I observe it. But I'm never going to because there's no video footage.
Exactly.
So you could just be in the least echoey section of the study hall right now. No one knows.
And the one in which
and you could just be lying about it.
People talking in the background. And that's just where I am.
They're studying too loud. And they just happen to sound a lot like your sweet mate.
Yeah, they're studying too loud. Well, look, I have some more topics. I have one that I think you'll find interesting or funny or whatever.
Well, I was going to add something, but it was just me complaining about my job life again. Dude,
Actually, I have three
this
topics.
This has, like, desensitized me. You know how, like, people talk about, like, oh, I hate my job and all that stuff? It's, like, desensitized me. It's, like, now at first when I hear that, I'm like, oh, that poor person, he needs to find a better career path. Now I'm like, suck it up, buddy. I'm sure everyone does.
Well,
but, of
I
course,
mean, you were that
I'm in
guy,
a unique...
and so it's the job pipeline. Everybody starts off as that guy and then becomes that other guy.
I don't think I mean, you're not supposed to enjoy your jobs. That's the real harsh reality I've come up with now. Is jobs are just bad. Like I'm not saying work is bad, but
I think the compromise of the way our society and
I gotta look into Marxism some, because I don't think I agree with it. But I very much agree with whatever Karl Marx said once about like separating your, like becoming a commodity and taking back the means of production.
That's what I'm saying.
You're not working for yourself anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
You've sold your soul to a society that provides you with things that aren't technically necessities, but which are the foundations for a society that you can't escape, and that society requires them as necessities. And in order to pay for them, you have to work on their behalf, doing things that you do not care about and that are probably not very well suited for you, but someone has to do them.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yes, I was just going to say that in a non-Marxist society that you can certainly find a job that you like, but I think that the non-Marxism comes with a compromise that will ensure that no matter what, there will always be some aspect to your job that is not pleasant or prevents you from like truly saying you enjoy your work. Which, again, I think there's always, as with anything in life, there's always going to be an aspect of anything you like, you know, that's always like a qualified term. Like you can't just say that you like it 100%. Like there's always nuance to that.
Yeah.
And anything...
Dude, what is it with the spaghetti giving me burps?
Like, again, my example with editing videos. I like doing it, but it is work, and sometimes it can be tiring. And there's certain aspects of it, certainly, that are, like, more mundane and just, like, tedious, as opposed to other more creative aspects of video editing, which is all part of one package
But at least that's something you're assigning to yourself. You're imposing.
But, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a little bit different, the kind of, like, displeasure you get from a job. It's not exactly... Like, yes, you also have those things. Like, if I was employed as a video editor, I would have the same things I just talked about. But then I would also have the displeasure of, like, I'm probably not editing things that I want to edit. You know, like, things that are meaningful to me. So that's always going to be, like, well, not, like, it's not really that fun then.
Yeah.
So.
And quick disclaimer. Oh, dang. Quick disclaimer before I get canceled. I do not... That was me giving my
canceled for not liking
unfiltered...
Karl Marx, or canceled for liking Karl Marx?
No, unrelated to that completely. My comment about not caring when people say they hate their job. That is like my unfiltered response as of some time ago. Consciously, I do still sympathize with anyone regardless, but I do think there is some truth to the fact that everyone hates their jobs. But obviously there are some points where that's maybe a bit more valid of a complaint than others. If you're out there listening right now, one of the 15 of you who watch this, and you're working at Amazon now, and you got to pee in a bottle, like, dude, yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah,
that's rough.
You got to draw the line. You got to draw the line there.
There's definitely different levels of it, which is true for anything. Like I am actually really grateful. My boss is awesome. He seems like the kind of guy that who's the boss in The Office? What's his name?
Michael Scott.
He seems like the kind of person that is parroting, you know? He's a very not too serious and very...
Are you talking about your internship manager or like your boss?
Yeah, not my boss, but I never see my boss. I only hear that he extends my internship, and that's all I know about him. But my supervisor is very nice, and he's essentially my boss.
And he's Michael Scott.
Yeah, he feels like it.
That's cool.
In a less consequential way. He doesn't pull off goofy shenanigans that like set off episode plot lines. This is coming from someone who's never seen.
I know.
The
I was about
Office,
to say, have you ever watched The Office?
No, I've seen clippets of it, so I feel like I know enough to make the assertion that I did.
Aside from the direct, which dropped the absolute bombshell of them remaking Thousand Year Door, which
oh my goodness,
inadvertently drops the bombshell of the fact that they have to make another Mario and Luigi RPG game now. There is no like I'm just confident. I don't even need to stress about it now. I just know it's happening. It is. Aside from that direct that I assume have to talk about at some point, I have 3 other topics that are necessities. So,
dude is reality bending. I've heard some people say that any direction where the Paper Mario series is going more towards its RPG traditionalist roots is actually bad for the Mario and Luigi series. Because, like I said, there have been interviews where certain Nintendo employees make it sound like they only want one RPG series at a time.
But no, that's exactly the thing. When they're announcing the remake of Super Mario RPG, which by the way isn't even a series, is a one-off, it's like, okay, well this is just going to be a one-off remake then. Then they remake one of the Paper Mario games, that's like, okay, that's a little bit different, right? Now it's like you're remaking something that's part of a technically ongoing series, and you're doing it in parallel, like almost inviting comparison between the 2 remakes. Like they're definitely like what's the word here? It's a similar thing they're doing with the Super Mario RPG remake and the Paper Mario remake. And I think they're trying to make it obvious that they're very similar projects in the sense that they're both remakes of old games that are not mainline Mario games. And the fact that they're doing both of those shows to me, hey, look, they're acknowledging that there can be multiple different coexisting Mario franchise series, especially even this one that, like I said, isn't even really a series. It was a one-off, and now they're bringing it back for the remake. So that's promising to me. And the fact that they're doing that, I mean, who's to say now that they can't have a third something going in parallel with those 2? So to me, it's makes me more confident. I mean, I can see what you're saying, and I think in a vacuum that may be true, but we're not in a vacuum. And given the full context, I think that it's actually promising.
Everything I've wanted from Nintendo lately, they've already put out. So you know what? I think that's the evidence there that it's not going to happen, because it would have happened already.
Talking.
But you know what? You
just
give
me just stop. If you have nothing positive to say, don't say anything.
Dude
at all.
is scared. He's anti fear mongering. Dude's hope mongering.
Are we going to talk about that leaked Xbox emails?
No, dude. I was going to turn it into hope mongering though, because you know why it hasn't happened yet? Because Nintendo's waiting for us, Alpha Dream 2.
Oh, you're so right. Yeah, actually, you are so right.
Yeah, they're sitting there patiently. They were too patient to let me program a Mario game all on my own, but I'm too impatient. But they're just patient enough for the 2 of us to program a game with both the bros. We're gonna do it. We're gonna join Nintendo.
I'll trust that you're keeping in communication with them because I haven't heard anything.
Yes. Yeah, I have calls with what's Shintaro Furukawa, the current president of Nintendo.
Get out of here with that.
Yes,
Listen,
every night we have long talks.
Are we going to talk about the leaked Microsoft emails?
Oh, this I haven't heard about actually.
Haven't?
No. Well, I was going to say this a while back when you were talking about the what is it called again? Frontmen? What is it?
Sidemen.
Sidemen, wrong direction. The Sidemen and their thing, and how I had only seen like one clip about it. I'm kind of doing an internet detox again because it's the only way I can be productive, especially now with all this work time. Dude, but the second you stop absorbing every single piece of information the internet throws at you, and you're at my age, people will start being, oh, you're old, you don't know everything on it, you haven't heard about this meme? What, you have a job? What, old head? I'm scared of it. I need to get in. I need to get into drinking alcohol so I can act like it doesn't affect me a lot, so people can think I'm young.
What?
They say once you get like 30, you can't. You like get major hangovers and you get drunk. I don't think you get drunk more easily, but yeah, your hangovers are worse. Like you can't handle it as well long term. Well, whenever people are talking about things that happen when you start to get old, that's one of them. But I'll never know because I don't drink. Yeah, to all you podcasters out there looking to take notes on our personalities, those podcast lore keepers, I am straight edge. I do not even drink caffeine. I've never sniffed a marker. I've never smoked Smarties.
Well, do you want to get up to date on this?
Yes. Tell me all about this.
Okay.
It sounds interesting.
So Xbox or Microsoft was involved in a lawsuit with the Federal Trade Commission, which had to do something with them trying to acquire Activision, I believe.
Oh, yeah. That was a while ago. I heard about that.
Yes. Well, as a result of court proceedings in that case, there was basically a giant leak of some internal Microsoft emails.
Ooh.
And basically the emails were tons and tons of correspondence between Phil Spencer, which is like the head guy of Xbox.
I know him.
And I guess other people within Microsoft and Xbox. And talking about some craziness, including how he wanted to... I mean, I don't know if you know, but like how Phil Spencer is basically like has admitted that Xbox completely failed the console wars, and like Xbox as a console is not providing anything new to the table.
Every passing year I think about how much more irrelevant Microsoft has become in the gaming scene.
Yeah. And so he's like, I guess the idea for Microsoft now is not to try to do anything with consoles, but to be more like...
Buy Mojang.
Yeah, basically.
Keep making the same just stuff that's already been popular.
Own the companies that are doing well.
The Disney technique.
So, apparently one of these emails include the fact that... actually, there's a quote here, which is... No, who's this from? Yes, is Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer says, quote, Nintendo is the prime asset for us in gaming. And basically, he talks about wanting to buy Nintendo. Like Microsoft... He talks about...
Dude thinks he can buy Nintendo?
He talks about Microsoft buying Valve.
That's a pretty far stretch, too, but it's more realistic than buying Nintendo.
Yeah, it is more realistic, but it's also not very, because Valve is pretty massive because of Steam.
Yeah. I was about to say, I feel like PlayStation is slowly becoming a little bit irrelevant, too. It's really Nintendo and PC gaming are the big heavy hitters now.
And by PC
and Steam
gaming,
has like kind of a stranglehold.
I mean, when you say PC gaming, you mean whoever's developing the games.
Well, I mean systems that cater towards that. So like Steam and the Epic Store, but Steam is still probably, in the lead there.
Yeah.
So Steam, aka Valve, and Nintendo are probably the biggest.
Yeah, I'm just saying like it's like Valve isn't exactly making games, but that's why Microsoft is going for like wants to acquire Activision, for example, so that they can own the Call of Duty series. But apparently. So I'm surprised you haven't heard about this, because there's been huge talk of people just clowning on Phil Spencer. But apparently Microsoft, this is not the first time that Microsoft has talked about acquiring Nintendo. Apparently back in 1999.
How is a way less successful, way less long-lasting... Well, I mean, Microsoft as a company, I guess, is technically bigger than Nintendo.
From a different country.
Yeah, from a different country. You're going to buy well, I mean... I guess people have done that with other companies.
But it's just like, imagine Nintendo is headquartered in Japan. And imagine buying Nintendo and being like, okay, Nintendo of America is now going to be the Nintendo. And it's instead going to be like Nintendo and Nintendo of Japan. Like, that just doesn't... It's just weird.
It's just so wrong.
But yeah, apparently in 1999, Microsoft did the same thing.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking
made some offer to the execs of Nintendo that made them, quote, laugh their asses off.
Yeah, I heard they got laughed out of the room. That's
for at least
I can't believe they're still at this.
So, yeah.
Dude, I bet Nintendo is hearing about this now, or heard it a while ago, like most people did, and they're laughing about it all over.
Yeah, they are, because a lot of companies were like subpoenaed for the court case. So representatives from Sony, Nintendo, Google, and Nvidia were all part of the court hearings.
Yeah,
because I guess they were subpoenaed for some part of that.
Real quick, tell me what subpoenaed means.
Subpoena is like, let me pull up an official definition.
It's just like
it's like, hey, you need to come to court.
Okay,
yeah,
I thought it was something.
Or a summon.
I was literally about to say just called to court, but
yeah,
I was like, it's got to be more complex
than that. It's like a summoning to attend court.
Okay, it's like jury duty, but you're not the jury.
Yes, you're the testifier. So, yeah, but that's not even all of it. But basically, it's just more evidence that Microsoft is like failing hard and getting desperate, I guess.
Wow, man.
Because they've fully turned to the just buy other companies that are already doing well.
I mean, technically, I was going to say, when you first brought up Microsoft leaked emails, I thought it was going to be like something terrible that they were doing like behind the scenes. And that is technically terrible. But like, it's almost just more stupid than anything.
Yeah,
you know?
It is. I just don't, like you said, I think Microsoft is just used to being...
They're delusional.
I mean, Microsoft is huge in terms of the, like, PC market, because they still have the majority hold over operating systems with Windows. But in terms of, like, Xbox specifically, as you said, they're, like, a failing company in terms of gaming. So I don't know why they think that they can buy companies who are literally doing better than them and expect, like... What is that company getting out of it, you know? I mean, I guess a little bit of money for being purchased, but then beyond that, it's like they're fine on their own. So I'm curious to see what happens with Microsoft and Xbox. I'm curious to see what happens for the next generation of consoles. If all this rumor is true about the Switch 2 coming out, I'm curious to see what's going to happen as far as if there's going to be a next-gen
But they've announced so many games for the Switch now. You actually told me a while back that you were going to go into detail about why you think the Switch 2 is happening. You said, I've seen some information. I'm kind of sold on it now. And the biggest thing I had heard is that the NVIDIA chip that the Switch has always been using is going out of production soon, or might have already. And so they would have to...
Well, I've heard a lot of people say
redesign it, essentially.
That they think the reason why why they're releasing like these remakes is because they want to hold off on like a lot of bigger crazy releases, like a new like something like a new 3D Mario, for example. They want to hold off to the next console, so they're kind of...
But this 2D Mario is huge, and a Peach game? I mean, I don't know what kind of...
Yeah, I mean... But at the same time, it's like, what are you gonna do? Because you don't want to, you can't just not be releasing games either. So
yeah,
it's kind of, I guess to me, it's just like it's not evidence that there's not going to be a new console. It's more just like they have to still come out with games. They don't want to have, and they've already had such a long lull.
Pikmin 4 has got to be inspired by the work ethic at Nintendo right now, because they are Dandorying hard. Like they are making some strategic plays here, some of which may seem a bit anti-consumerist, but in the end, it's working out pretty well. I'm pretty satisfied with the games they've been showing off lately, and not dissatisfied enough with some of them to have it really hold against them. And I almost feel like Nintendo hasn't made any huge anti-consumerist moves lately either. And I hope it continues in that direction. But again, I've been off the internet, so hopefully I didn't just make a really bad call in saying that. Because it seems like every time I'm getting comfortable with Nintendo not stirring something up, they do something like sue somebody, ban something, and it gets some hot water all over again.
I haven't heard anything as of late. So I think you're safe for now.
I'm safe.
Now,
safe for now.
But yeah, I guess we'll see I'm genuinely curious whether an Xbox console is ever going to come out again, or if Microsoft is completely done with consoles.
Bro, can I talk about how weird this is? I still have Puzzle Quest Galactic's launch trailer sitting here on Discord.
Me too.
But the thing is, I have it paused 3 seconds away from the end of the video. And my brain keeps looking at this gray bar that's almost completely filled up with red. And it makes me think that you talking to me right now is going to cut off in 3 seconds. And it's going to end. Because I'm used to seeing that and thinking that. So I'm going to scroll up instead to this gif of a dog falling asleep that you sent before that. So my brain doesn't keep having like some sort of temporal imbalance.
Well, I got to talk really quick also about how Aiden Ross kept... I don't even know where to start.
Which one is Aiden Ross again? I can't keep up with all these names.
Aiden Ross is the Andrew Tate chair sniffer.
Oh, yeah, him.
So, for like a week...
There's like a weird feeling I get when I say I don't remember someone, and then you tell me that there's someone that really should not get as much attention as they do and is just kind of stupid, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I feel justified in not knowing them now. Because, like, honestly, who cares, you know?
Well...
Like, no offense to the guy, but he doesn't deserve the attention he's gotten.
You're going to love this.
I mean, that's the whole thing, is he's basically begging for attention, so I'm glad I'm not giving it to him.
For like a whole week, he went on this campaign advertising that he was going to have a special guest on his Kick stream on, I don't know, it was like Friday or something. It already happened.
Last Friday?
Yeah. And the special guest was reportedly, allegedly, Kim Jong-un.
Wait, you say allegedly, and this already happened. There's no documentation. Are you okay, by the way? You keep coughing.
No, that was a laugh. Well, I mean, it was like a laugh and a cough, but...
Oh, okay.
Like,
dude, sometimes
people...
I say stuff like I'm from New York, and sometimes I say stuff like I'm from Canada. Did you hear me say cough just now? I was like, cough.
No, I didn't.
It's kind of weird.
That.
I've said coffee like that, too, before.
Well, anyways, like...
Sometimes I say sorry like sorry.
I don't think you're getting the humor here. Like there was straight up people talking about, dude, Aiden Ross is going to talk to Kim Jong-un. And then there was
that's what I'm saying.
This image floating around where he had like a notepad document open, and it was like he was writing down ideas of what he was going to ask Kim Jong-un.
Wait, I know. But that's what I'm saying. Like, this is like Eric's party in 2004 or something, right? This like didn't actually happen, right?
Jonathan, what do you think?
Well, I know, but that's what I'm saying. But then who was the actual guest?
Well, I'm going to tell you in a second. But
Does no one know?
Well, let me pull up the list of
questions.
That
sounds hilarious, so I wish I could have seen that when everyone was...
Let me pull up the list of questions.
Kim Jong-un.
There's a screenshot going around with this list of questions for Kim Jong-un. Thoughts on LGBT? Can you give steak money back? React to Andrew Tate? Visit North Korea? And many more. But people were like, oh yeah, and including the last one, which is fake nutsack prank, whatever that means. And people kept memeing like, bro, we're about to get bombed and stuff. And like, it was all funny, but there were so many people that 100%
What is funny is that Kim Jong-un has probably heard about this by now. Maybe. I don't know how.
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it.
Well, I mean, I think about, like, China and how they have, like, a bunch of people, like, hired probably to, like, keep up whenever anyone says anything bad about them. You know, whenever they say anything about, like, the Taiwan or Hong Kong situation, it's like everyone's at their doorsteps. Like, oh, no, I didn't say anything. Please don't block me out of your entire economy. Ooh.
Look at this.
You know, I don't know if North Korea is the same way.
Look at this picture. This is what I'm talking about. Like, people were hyping this up. Like, dude,
I wish this happened now.
And
Okay, I get why you led with this
So-
without telling me the actual ending, because it's bound to disappoint whatever it is.
People like actually
I'm
believed
getting
that
too
he
close
was
to the
going
mic.
to talk to Kim Jong-un. There was people that were like genuinely scared, like, nah, he's about to start somebody was like, he's gonna skip World War III. We're going straight to World War IV with this one. But like, some people were joking. Some people legit thought he was gonna talk to Kim Jong-un. Like, how stupid do you have to be? Why? How would Aiden Ross have connections to the supreme leader of North Korea, and why would he talk to him?
He got them
Like,
through
just
Donald
in
Trump.
what world does that even exist? How is that possible? Anyways,
It's the world I want to live in. You know what? If we're going down the drain, we better go out with a bang. That's what I'm saying.
so this is what showed up. So here's the crazy thing. He broke a record. He broke the Kick streaming record for people on his stream right up to the moment that it was about to start. And then
as soon as Kim Jong-un wasn't there, they all left.
Jonathan, he broke the record for the most viewers lost.
Yo!
Because this is what everybody saw. It is literally somebody found his Instagram account, the impersonator. It is literally just a guy who is a professional Kim Jong-un impersonator. And
Bruh.
he just brought him on. This is the same thing that it's like the same thing that I Show Speed did with Cristiano Ronaldo, and he had a Ronaldo impersonator.
So hold on, did he start the whole Kim Jong-un rumors, or did he just play into them?
No, he started. Like, he said, guys, we're going to be interviewing Kim Jong-un.
Dude.
And then he pulls out this guy. But it's like, I don't know how anybody thought, how could you, anyways. But
Does
it's kinda
Kim
hilarious.
Jong-un even wear glasses?
No, I don't think so.
Yo, he could have at least done like a
Oh, he does.
Zoom
He does.
green
He does
screen
sometimes.
background. Do they look like a librarian nanny glasses though? That's what
Yeah,
this guy's
actually,
look
they
like.
do look the exact same.
Oh, okay, wow. He should have done like a Zoom style, like AI green screened or whatever you call it, where it just cuts out the background and made it look like, you know, like some like official government building headquarters.
Yeah.
That would have been at least hilarious effort put into it.
But
If he put up like an actual set, that would have been awesome.
But yeah, my last topic is: have you heard about the news in Super Mario
Bro's
64?
catching me up on the internet. I appreciate it.
Have you heard about the news in Super Mario 64 speedrunning?
Oh no, did Suigi or whatever do something again? Did he break every single record that ever existed?
Well, Green Suigi, along with some other people, working together over the past week or so, have finally figured out this is the biggest breakthrough in years for Mario 64 speedrunning.
Start playing the Vaporwave.
About to. There's going to be a summoning salt video on this so soon.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sure. Or at least the first time somebody breaks a record using it. But Jonathan, finally, carpetless is viable in RTA.
Carpetless?
Yes.
You never touch the carpet?
Are you not familiar with carpetless? It's basically just
it's the carp.
Rainbow
it's the
Ride,
floating
carpet ride to the
carpets.
castle, to the floating castle.
Wait,
That specific star, there's no
Hold
way
on.
to do it without
what's the biggest jump there? What's the biggest hurdle in the way of that? Because I've seen people get close.
with carpetless?
Well, I mean, I've seen them do parts of it carpetless, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well,
I've seen what they're capable of.
I
Yeah.
mean-
I'm wondering how they met this last hurdle. What is the breakthrough?
Listen. Most of Rainbow Ride, well, I mean, all of Rainbow Ride, except the one star, is you can do without carpets. All of that's been figured out because obviously carpets are the slowest part of that stage. But it's specifically the one star that's on the top of the floating castle.
Of course.
Up until now, there's been no humanly possible glitch to get onto that top of the house to get that star faster than just riding the whole carpet right up there, which is like almost a minute long.
Can't even like backwards long jump there or something?
If you're tasked, you can do some crazy stuff.
Oh, okay.
But
No
they
human.
finally figured out, I mean, over a year ago now, this is like a year and a half ago, somebody figured out a way you can do something which is technically humanly possible, but requires two of what are
Bro,
called glitchy...
all you had to say was technically humanly possible. I've seen enough speedrunner videos to know that's all they need.
But the problem is, like, it's basically like a 1 in 2,000 chance you'd get it in a run. So, like...
1 in 2,000? That sounds easy.
But you're talking about a run that requires an hour and a half to get up to that point. Because it's the last
I'm being facetious,
stage.
but yes.
I'm just saying, if you tried that, it would be literally, you'd be spending thousands of hours speedrunning until you got lucky enough. But it requires 2 glitchy wall kicks, which are basically, you have to have a very exact direction that Mario is facing, and also have frame perfect timing on the wall kick. And it does a weird glitchy wall kick. And you have to do 2 of those in a row. And that's already after doing a bunch of crazy stuff with a bomb regrab to get up to this point where you do the glitchy wall kicks.
Dude, I want to see this.
But now they figured out a way similar, but it's like a setup sort of like canonless, where there's like this sort of series of inputs you can do that's like an easier setup to make sure you have the right positioning and everything to do the wall kicks you need to get up on top of the castle. And so it's officially, Green Suigi posted on Twitter, he did it like 5 times in a row, he got it. So it's officially human viable, and you can do it in runs. It's
Suigi viable, which is somewhere between human viable and machine viable.
Exactly. But my favorite speedrunner Simply made a video about it, and so it's kind of gets me hyped.
I think it's funny. Out of context, if you didn't know Simply was the name of him, you could have been like, he simply made a video. My favorite speedrunner, Simply, made a video on it. But yeah, I'm really excited because this is like, it's basically only a matter of time now before somebody shatters the world record for 120 star. Because we're talking about like a 40-second time save, which is absurd. Like that will shatter even like the 10th place run right now. If it had carpetless, it would become the first place run. So we're talking about like a huge time save that it's basically like the first person to be able to pull it off is gonna get world record. Bro, and this is monumental because Super Mario 64 is like one of the most dedicated and like expansive, multifaceted like speedrunning communities out there.
Yeah, it is possibly,
and this is like the peak of it. Like this is like the magnum opus, so to speak.
It is possibly the biggest speedrunning game, and this discovery has been like years in the making. So it is a pretty huge deal, especially if you are if you're in the know, then you know how big of a deal it is.
Bro, this video is gonna be hard to edit because I keep like leaning in when you show pictures and stuff to like look at my screen, and then leaning back because I'm kind of tired and it's kind of late and I kind of brain foggy, and so I'm just like, whoa. Yeah. But hey, at least you're not echoing.
Just don't worry about it. I mean, who watches these things anyways? Am I right, guys?
I know, right? My dream is that one day we'll have some degree of a following, and people will look back on these like fondly, because there needs to be a word. Oh my goodness, dude! Do you ever just like hear about like languages that have words, and you're like, yo, that is a word.
Literally.
No, but like words that like, and it's funny sometimes because when they're like specific to a language, you stop and think to yourself, either that country just so happened to have a really creative guy who was really good at making cool words that stuck around, or that specific culture felt this feeling often enough and specifically enough to create a word for it. Like, what is that word that's German that is like to feel happy at other people's misfortune? That's a basic example.
And the Japanese word that means to have a bookshelf full of books you don't read.
Oh yeah, Japan's got a ton of them. I love that. Japan has like a ton of like words for just like feelings. But that's what I want, a word for a feeling right now, which is where you kind of regret something, but acknowledge that technically it was probably for the best. You know?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about having never shared any art or had any online presence. kind of, with the exception of the podcast, up to
You
today.
think it's
in
for
my
the
life.
best?
I think the online presence part was, I already wish that I didn't have access to the internet as early as I did as a kid. Well, except it's another one of those things where I regret it, but it was, I mean, it's like, it shaped me into who I am, so who am I to say that I would be better being different, because I can't even fathom what that would look like. The internet's a wacky place. I don't know if I wanted to get my toes, I still don't know if I'm ready. Like, if we started taking off tomorrow, I don't know if I'd be ready, you know? But I would like to think that in the same way that people will, like, look back at, like, the drawings you posted on Twitter when you were 5, if you're an artist, that they'll look back on us as technically young adults right now making a podcast and be like, this is where it started, even though it technically started way further back. We just didn't put any of it on the internet.
Certainly they would. I mean, I feel like people love to do that with big creators. And they go back and they comment and they're like, no way, he came from making, stuff like this, and now he's...
And it's actually really cool that it's a podcast, because, like, you look at, like I said, like, drawings and stuff, art that people made, maybe short films, and it's like you have to do like the English teachers do, like, deduce meaning about, like, their life and stuff based off of their art.
This
but, like,
is
we're
just a straight up time capsule.
Yeah, we're straight up telling you what it's like right now.
Like they're going to go back and watch the Pro Jared video, and they're going to be like, who is that?
Yeah, I know. This is literally a time capsule and, like, a straight up interview. Like, if you are watching this from the future, this is an interview with us from the past. Except you can't ask the actual questions. But you know what? By the time you were wherever you are now, we've probably answered them all already, and I just
like how I said.
My head, so please don't say anything because I won't be able to hear it.
It's just like how I said that one day the people in the future will make a documentary and they'll include part of this podcast.
Yes,
it'll be like an interview with our past selves.
Dude, one day aliens will hear our voices and actually understand the words they're saying that we're saying.
Oh,
they'll have like an English to Zorbiosilian dictionary open just to like get some of the weirder words.
I have closing question to the podcast. I have a question for you because it just made me think of this. You know how the government sent out like a floppy disk into space and I think like a CD or something?
They've put a bunch of junk out there.
Yeah. With the idea like if an alien found it that they could, it would be like a flare, so to speak, a sign of life. How do you feel about that? I mean, this is such a hypothetical and like not a realistic question to ask, but I always thought, well, that's ridiculous because you have to parse through so many layers of human language.
Yeah, exactly.
And stuff that's specific to us.
Imagine we find a box and like it's a completely like alien like format to us. Like it's like it's not even using like energy. It's like there's like crystallized waveforms and they're like interlocked in like a base 7 format, but it's like 3-dimensional. It's like they read through them diagonally. And like I'm just throwing stuff out there now, but like and floppy disks are pretty basic. Like you think how much more basic can you get than like a binary system storing energy?
That's what I'm saying though. Like what if like binary isn't necessarily the only way you'd have to design a computer. Yeah. So what's saying that some other alien life form out there would be able to decode our binary technology, and not just that, but also our completely arbitrary man-made file structures. Like an audio file has just randomly formatted
they're never going to.
Data in it that you have to know the conventions of the file structure to be able to parse it.
Yeah, like I'm going to blow your mind right now because it doesn't matter how super intelligent these aliens are. The truth is, if you mash your keyboard into a text file until it's like filled to the brim, and then there are an infinite number of videos that you can make out of that. Through just like different like interpretive software.
Ways of parsing the data.
In the world out there are an infinite number of hypothetical programs that could literally create anything out of that. Every picture ever made that is at least capable of like fitting in that resolution of however many characters you made, it can all be in there because it's all a matter of interpretation. The aliens could see like the letter R in one place and like the R is like a sacred symbol in their religion or something, and they think it's a message from God. I mean, that's a literal interpretation, not like a data interpretation. But I'm just saying, it means nothing without context.
Yeah.
Without the context, this is nothing. This is just data for the sake of data. This is what scientists do. They just like to sound cool. They just like to LARP, making a difference, but they can't do it. Because that's like, when I especially like, what is the word? Astrophysicists. And they're talking about, like, what happens if, like, two black holes collide, like, 10 bajillion light years away. It's like, who cares? How is it going to affect us? I don't care about the Hawking radiation. Is it going to kill me? Can we stop it if it does? We can't? Then why do I care?
They just want
It's
to
like
LARP, bro.
so many levels of hypothetical.
Just let them LARP. Just let them play D&D.
Yeah.
They're just playing space D&D.
Bro, they're playing Puzzle Quest Galactrix.
Galactrix, yes! And with that, that's the perfect
Bro,
end to
the
this
perfect
episode.
loop. I love it when we have the perfect loop to end the podcast. It all comes full circle.
Yeah.
And with that, this has been the Escape Podcast with the bro host, me.
And the co-host, me.
And we will see you next time on the next episode
Of
the Escape Podcast.
Cast. Bye.
Bye. And now this is the after part.
This is the after
Where
part,
Jason-
and we have to clap.
Where Jason denies again that he's not coughing.
No,
was that a laugh
okay,
too?
I was sick. And it's a good thing we didn't record this podcast earlier, because I sound even more nasally than I probably do right now.
Oh, yeah, and you couldn't record it when we were originally going to either. What was it, Friday?
Thursday.
Because Jason's campus goes into a mini Armageddon every time that they win a football game or whatever.
We had a football game last week. That was last week.
Oh. What was the thing you said that everyone would be talking and you said there'd be a game?
Yes, that was last week.
Oh.
That was
wait,
the week.
what?
That was the week that we missed the podcast.
Oh.
Because we were going to record it on like Friday.
Great. So it's not
on
my fault that
Saturday.
we missed the podcast.
No,
great. I'm going to use that as an
No,
excuse.
it still was. I mean, like, I still could have recorded on Sunday. I was just like, yeah, it's fine if you can't record today because it probably won't work for me either. But anyways, what was I going to say? Oh, we need to clap.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, hopefully
Okay.
that's sufficient. Suficiente.
Suficiente. That's like French and Spanish.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. But I do know about Puzzle Quest Galactrix.
I can't wait, dude. I'm so hyped.
I know, I'm so hyped, dude. Alright, take care. See you in the next one. Bye now.
Bye-bye.